Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2012 Volkswagen CC. We're going to be taking a look at the CURT 2-bike platform tilting rack for 1 1/4 and 2-inch hitches. Now if you're looking for a bike rack that's economical and don't mind it being frame mounted, I think this is a perfect rack. You can see how it hooks around the frame, and then our tires are going to sit inside of a cradle. Each one of our hooks is going to be ratcheting, so as we tighten it down, it's going to tighten our bike down, tighten our wheels down, or tires down inside of those cradles. Each one of our hooks are keyed alike, so once we get them locked into place, take the key, we can lock it, and we don't have to worry about somebody coming up and trying to take our bikes off. Each lock core can be replaced, as well as the keys, by looking at the number on the front. Now, we really don't have this issue with this vehicle because it's a trunk. However, if we have another vehicle at our house that maybe has a hatch on the back, we can add this bike rack onto it. Now, you may be thinking, how do I get my hatch door open and get in it with the bikes on? Well, this bike rack actually tilts. So if we come right up here and take a look, we're going to have 2 pins right down here. To remove the top pin, we'll just slightly lift on the rack and then remove the bottom one, and that allows us to tilt the rack away from the vehicle. And again, if we had a hatch, open the hatch door, get in, take anything out we need, or put anything in we want. And then fold it back up, reinstall your pins to secure it, just like that. Now we'll go ahead and remove our bike, and we'll go over some of the other features. To remove it, simply push on the lock, slide it up, and then we can take our bike off. Our cradles are going to fit a 3-inch tire, and they're able to adjust up and down these arms to fit different length bikes. You simply turn the knob, slide your cradle out to fit whatever size bike you have on. Now we're going to give you a few measurements in how the bike rack folds up in different ways. So let's say we have our bike on here and we're traveling with a bike on it. Our lowest point at the back of the rack is going to be right here. So from the ground to that point, you're looking at about 16 inches. And when we don't have our bike on and we want to fold our rack up to travel with it, you're simply going to pull out the pin on each arm. We're going to rotate this up. We're going to have to make sure that these are pushed out enough. And then we reinsert the pin here at the top. That gives us a nice aerodynamic design in the back. For our lowest point, which is going to be right here to the ground, we're looking at about 7 3/4. That you want to keep in mind if you're turning off of a road onto a steep driveway. Then we'll go ahead and give you a measurement for the furthest point out, which is going to be here from the back of our vehicle. This is going to tell us how much we're adding onto the back of it. And we're looking at about 26 inches. That's the number you want to keep in mind if you're backing into like your garage or a tight parking space. Now, in addition to it being stored like this, we can also store it flatter up against the vehicle. So we'll fold our arms back down, reinstall our pins. We'll come to this pin on our mast. We're going to pull it out. We're going to fold it back, reinstall the pin at the end. We'll come down here. We're going to pull this pin. Once we pull our pin, we're going to raise it up, and we'll reinstall our pin. With it folded like this, you can see we've just now made what we've added onto the back of our vehicle much smaller. So now to the furthest point out, which is going to be here, let's say from the outer edge of our bumper, we're looking at about 12 inches. As I mentioned, this bike rack is going to work for 1¼ and 2-inch hitches. For a 2-inch hitch, it's going to come with a sleeve. It's also going to come with an anti-rattle bolt. So as we thread that into place, it's going to take any of the movement out of the bike rack in the receiver. That way we're not hearing the bike rack rattling against it as we're driving down the road. This bike rack is going to have a 45-pound weight capacity per bike. So again, as I mentioned earlier, if you're looking for an economical bike rack and you don't mind it being frame mounted, I think this is a perfect rack. It's pretty simple to use, pretty straightforward. If you have a couple bikes and you're tired of loading them into the trunk, this is going to be the perfect way to allow you to get your bikes where you want to go. That's going to do it for a look at the CURT 2-bike platform tilting rack on a 2012 Volkswagen CC.